Ocean Sound says sometimes you can be overqualified. False. Absolutely false. That's what they say to you. They say, I'm sorry, you're overqualified. That's bullshit. And it's the most transparent form of bullshit too. Because first of all, if you were overqualified, did they not read your resume? Could they not see that from your resume? Why did they have to bring you in person to see that your qualifications were unsuitable? You had too much qualifications. Like, not that that makes any sense, but that's what they're saying, right? They couldn't tell that from your resume. Secondly, I mean, there's so many things to this. Number one, overqualified is code. It's code for, we think you'll want too much money. We think that you're unsuitable for this role. It's also a euphemism for any reason to eliminate you. Like, we find you off-putting and unlikable. We think you've got a really bad attitude. You know, they're not going to say, I'm sorry, we think you have a horrible attitude and are a horrible human being, so we're not going to move forward. They're not going to say stuff like that. So what they do is they do damage control and they say, I'm sorry, you're just overqualified, right? And then that way, the candidate goes, oh, it sucks I didn't get the job. But on the other hand, they're telling me I'm really qualified. So I feel pretty good about myself. It minimizes the fallout from the rejection and the drama that they have to deal with, right? So it's a bullshit term. Like, think about it. How could someone be too good at a job? I'm sorry, you're just too good. We are a mediocre company. We don't hire good people. You're just too good. You wouldn't fit in here. Said nobody ever, right? So it's a bullshit term. And it's an example of them managing your expectations and your understanding of the situation. Now, the follow-up is, so then personality takes somewhat precedence when getting hired. Absolutely. Now, listen, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. You don't have to. You don't have to take my word for anything. I'm not asking anyone to take my word for anything. What I'm saying is, if you have an inquiring mind and you do want to genuinely understand like the reality of how this stuff works, and if you do, I applaud you. That's a great thing. And you want to do this in a somewhat objective way. Go out, keep your eyes open, try various things, see the results, and don't form your entire opinion off one data point. Look for trends, look for correlations. If you try something 5 times in a row and you're like 0 for 5, it never works out. And then you try something else 5 times in a row and you're 5 for 5, that strongly suggests that the thing that you're changing has a huge effect, right? Like, I'd like to think that what I'm doing is I'm giving people a bit of a reality check. Not to sound self-righteous, but I feel that like I've been on the inside of companies for many, many years. I've been a CEO in a company. I've worked with a lot of business owners and people like this. And there's a lot of bullshit that they feed everyone officially because it's to their advantage to manage how people think. And we see that everywhere. And the hiring process, the official hiring process, is yet another example of that. That's why a lot of people can sense this disconnect. They tell you it should work one way, but then you try it doesn't. The results you're getting don't seem to jive with your understanding of how things are set up. And if you notice that disconnect, congratulations, you've taken your first step to understanding how the world and people really work, because they lie a lot. They communicate very self-serving things a lot. Everyone does this. You do this if you examine your behavior objectively. And recruiters are no different. They're human beings like the rest of us. They have their flaws. Now, there's some particularly bad examples of human beings out there that are working as recruiters that really make you weep for the human race. But, they have the same sort of strengths and weaknesses that we all have. And if you were put in a position where you had to try and find who's the best candidate to fill this position, when it's a position that you yourself are not skilled in or trained in, you would have a lot of issues with it too, and there'd be a lot of imperfections. You also, generally speaking, don't want to offend people to their face. And if you are going to say something that's going to disappoint them, like, I'm sorry, we can't hire you, you're going to go into a bit of a dance to try and manage that situation too. That's the reality of recruiters. They have one job to fill and they get 800 candidates. That means 799 have to go away with a no, right? Can you imagine telling 799 people no in a very blunt way, in a no holds barred way that's honest? You're going to get anger. You're going to get death threats. You're going to get like threats of violence. That's what they're faced with. I'm not defending them because a lot of them do a very bad job and they're overly officious and callous a lot of times. But the reason why things are not the way they tell you it should be is because of human failings like this that we all have. That's why they can't be honest. That's why they're exaggerating a bit. So if you're sensing that disconnect, that's great. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just recognizing that things are not working the way they've told you they work. So if you honestly want to learn how they do work, keep an open mind. Don't just listen to me. Go out and try stuff. Go out and try a variety of different things and see what the results are. And over time, you will gradually sketch in that picture of how things actually work. Okay? Most of what they communicate to you is not entirely true. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just saying, like, this is how things work. Anyway, rant over.